The film opens with Sylvia waking John early in the morning after a night of intimacy, urging him to leave so she can prepare for work. Sensing her distress and reluctance for him to stay, John departs. Later, as Sylvia gets into her car, she notices a stranger watching her, but she dismisses him and drives off with her friend Laura. Unbeknownst to them, the stranger begins to follow. The two women arrive at a restaurant where Sylvia works, and the man discreetly notes the location before leaving. Throughout the day, Sylvia checks on John, who is working as a chef, but avoids engaging with him. Instead, she moves to the dining room, where she catches the attention of a businessman dining there. Feeling upset and filled with regret for reasons unknown, Sylvia heads to the shore, where she contemplates her troubled thoughts, cuts herself with a rock, and gazes at the raging waters below from a nearby cliff. Deciding not to dwell on her dark thoughts any longer, she returns to work. That evening, the businessman asks Sylvia out, while the stranger continues to follow her home. Sylvia spends the night with the businessman. The next day, Sylvia feels stressed when a senator comes to dine, instructing the head chef to prepare his usual meal. John, curious about who Sylvia was with the night before, questions her, but she brushes him off, telling him to focus on his work and distracting him with a phone call. After the restaurant closes, the businessman arrives to pick up Sylvia, but John intercepts them, criticizing her promiscuous behavior. Sylvia retaliates, reminding John of his own infidelity in his marriage to another woman, stating he has no right to judge her until he leaves his wife. Despite their argument, John follows them as they drive down a deserted road, unaware that the stranger is close behind. The date is ruined, and John's presence forces Sylvia to walk away. When John offers her a ride home, she refuses. The narrative then shifts to the past, revealing the roots of this complex drama in New Mexico. Santiago takes his younger brother Cristo to a burned-out trailer in the middle of nowhere, explaining that this is where their father and the woman he was having an affair with died. Santiago reflects on what might have gone through their father's mind as he perished in the flames. Later, Santiago finds their mother, Anna, drinking their father's whiskey with her sister and a friend. He points out that they are drinking his father's whiskey, but Anna jokes that the dead man won't be needing it anymore. The next day, Anna refuses to attend the funeral, leaving the brothers to go alone. After the service, the woman's family confronts them. Robert, the woman's husband, angrily shouts that he hopes Santiago's father burns in hell, blaming him for his wife's death. The brothers choose to ignore this, although Santiago can't help but notice Robert's eldest daughter, Mariana. In a flashback, we see how Santiago's father, Nick, met up with his lover, Gina, who was Robert's wife. Nick drove Gina to a borrowed trailer before their untimely deaths. Back in the present, on the day of Gina's funeral, Santiago follows her family home and waits until Mariana is alone before approaching her. He reassures Mariana that he doesn't want to argue about their families. Instead, he seeks to understand what brought their parents together and led to such a tragic end. After her mother's death, Mariana reflects on that day and secretly meets with Santiago. During one of their meetings, Santiago hits a bird with a slingshot, and Mariana tries her hand at it, succeeding. As they cook the bird, Santiago shares that he learned to hunt from his father. Mariana asks if he loved his father, to which Santiago replies yes. She admits that she loved her mother too, though she didn't like her. Surprised, Mariana grabs the cooked bird straight from the fire, unfazed by the heat. Carlos and Maria book a motel room in Oregon, where Maria inquires about her mother. Carlos explains that her mother was already gone by the time he met Santiago, sharing that Santiago had searched for her for a long time, blaming himself for her departure. Hearing this, Maria firmly states that she has no interest in meeting her mother. However, Carlos is determined to fulfill his promise to Santiago and bring Maria to her mother, as his friend insisted. The story then shifts back to a different thread, where Gina surprises Nick by cleaning their secret trailer, although she complains about the lack of hot water. When Nick touches her, she pulls away, explaining her discomfort with that part of her body, revealing that she had cancer 2 years ago. Despite this, Nick kisses her, reassuring her that her scars don't bother him. That night, when Gina returns home, Mariana informs her that her brother needs stitches after getting injured. The boy starts crying for his mother, making Gina feel guilty for neglecting her children. The next day, Gina bids her children farewell as they head off to school, unaware that Mariana has decided to investigate her mother's suspicious behavior. Lying about forgetting her homework as an excuse to return home, Mariana goes to the trailer, where she finds Nick installing gas tanks for hot water. Seeing her mother with another man devastates Mariana. In the present, Sylvia confronts Carlos after he rejects her advances, only to discover that he has been following her. He reveals that he knows she is actually Mariana. She denies it until he mentions Santiago and shows her a photo of Maria, claiming she is Mariana's daughter. Despite this, Sylvia insists that he stay away from her and leaves. Later that night, Sylvia stares at the photo of the baby she abandoned years ago, confirming to herself that she is indeed Mariana. We flash back to a time when she shared family photos with Santiago after their parents had passed away. Santiago asks to keep a photo, but Mariana wants a scar in return to help them remember that day. Santiago agrees and asks for one as well, not wanting to forget her either. That night, Mariana and Santiago use a lighter to scar themselves as a way to retain their memories. Afterwards, Santiago offers to stay at their father's empty house, promising not to touch her in honor of their parents' memories. He then asks Mariana to wear her mother's nightgown while he wears his father's shirt. She does so, and after changing, she joins him in bed. Despite his promise, they end up kissing. Back in the present, a distraught Mariana struggles to concentrate at work. She privately asks John if he could ever love her. When he says yes, she suggests that they run away together, but his hesitation leaves her disappointed. Upon arriving home, she finds Carlos waiting with Maria. Overwhelmed with fear, Mariana leaves, disappointing them both. In a flashback, Mariana confirms her mother's affair. Her mother returns home late, hurriedly preparing dinner. When Mariana questions her about her lateness, Gina lies about visiting a friend. However, Mariana had already checked and knew her mother wasn't there. Gina dodges further questions by redirecting Mariana to help with dinner. The next day, worried that Mariana knows about the affair, Gina meets Nick to break up, but he refuses, believing they are in love and can find a way to continue their relationship. Gina later surprises her family with a picnic, but Mariana refuses to join, claiming she has a school project. Instead, she explores the trailer where her mother secretly meets Nick. In the present, those memories weigh heavily on Mariana, leading her to change her mind. She asks Laura for help in finding Carlos and Maria. Despite checking various motels, they don't get any closer to locating them. While taking a break, Laura asks what happened, prompting Mariana to admit that she left her daughter 2 days after giving birth, feeling deserving. Years ago, she had surprised Santiago by introducing herself to his mother and aunt, still seeking closure about their deceased parents. Mariana had asked to see the bedroom where they once shared a romantic moment. Weeks before this, while Gina and her husband Robert were intimate, Robert couldn't fully connect with her, leaving Gina self-conscious and unsatisfied. Bored with her passionless life, Gina returned to Nick, unaware that Mariana had followed them again and witnessed their affair. Wanting revenge, the heartbroken daughter broke the gas pipe, intending only to scare them. In the present, Mariana and Laura finally locate Carlos. Mariana demands to see her daughter, but Maria, feeling betrayed, refuses and Carlos shuts the door. Unwilling to give up, Mariana books a room near Carlos and Maria. The next day, she discovers that they are packing up to leave. While Carlos is in the parking lot, Mariana rushes to their room to speak with Maria. She begs Maria to talk, but Carlos returns and blocks her. However, Maria apologizes and decides to give her mother a chance, asking Carlos to leave them alone. Mariana then apologizes for running away the other day and shares her feelings, expressing how she has thought of Maria throughout all the years they were apart. She also compliments Maria's resemblance to her father. Just then, Maria reveals that her father, Santiago, was involved in a plane crash and is currently in the hospital. After talking, Carlos reminds Maria that her father, Santiago, had requested they take her mother with them to Mexico. Maria assures Carlos that her mother will come. We go back years ago when Cristo, Santiago's brother, discovered his relationship with Mariana and urged him to end it. Despite this, Santiago continued seeing Mariana. When Santiago returned home, he found his mother, Ana, waiting for him. Cristo had told her everything, and she scolded Santiago for being involved with the daughter of his father's mistress. One night, a rock with a letter revealing Mariana's relationship was thrown through Robert's window. Confronting his daughter, Robert hit Mariana when she didn't deny it. As Robert drove off, Mariana called Santiago, warning him and begging her boyfriend to come for her. In the present, Mariana is waiting at the hospital to visit Santiago. We flash back to the day after Mariana broke the gas pipe. Gina and Nick met again, and trusting her lover, Gina admitted that she wanted surgery to cover her scar. Nick assured her that he loved her scar, and as they kissed, Mariana lit the gas pipe, expecting to force them out and catch them together. However, she grew worried when they didn't exit as the flames spread. Mariana called out to her mother, but before she could act, the gas tank exploded, trapping the couple inside. Mariana cried, realizing what she had done. In the present, Mariana learns that Santiago's leg infection might require amputation. Visiting him, she stares silently at her former lover as the doctor suggests leaving. Mariana asks to stay alone with Santiago, hoping he will survive to raise Maria. She admits her fear, confessing that Nick and Gina's death has haunted her since that night. After Robert discovered the relationship, he paused to mourn the damage to his family. Santiago passed by, and they shared a look before he drove off to get Mariana. She quickly joined him, and they ran away. That evening, after seeing Santiago, Mariana stays with Maria, noticing their matching scars from burns. Maria asks her mother if she'll stay. Mariana can't promise, struggling with Maria's assumptions, but she doesn't deny that she might leave again. In Santiago's room, Mariana sees the picture she gave him years ago, revealing her pregnancy. She recalls their moment of fear about keeping the child, but Santiago had promised they could start over in Mexico. The next day, speaking to Maria, Mariana admits that she left because she was afraid Maria would turn out like her. She begs for forgiveness, but Maria remains silent. At the hospital, they learn that Santiago won't need amputation, bringing a smile to Maria's face. She invites Mariana to see her father, accepting her mother into the family. Finally, we flash back once more, reviewing all the secrets that tore them apart. Mariana accepts the invitation, hopeful that they can finally break the cycle and find peace.